All right, let's talk about Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. Volume 1 of this show came out just about 2 years ago. I didn't even watch it right when it came out. I watched it a little bit later in 2019. And for me, even not having watched it right away, this was one of the most anticipated shows that I've been waiting for. So I can't even imagine what people who watched it when it debuted were thinking. And it's finally here, so I thought I'd share my thoughts about it. First off, just a little bit of generic information about the show. It is an anthology series, so each episode is totally unrelated to the previous one, at least for now. I mean, you never know, they could pull a Black Mirror and connect them all. And with that being said, the closest show that I can think to compare it to is Black Mirror, where you can just kind of sit down and watch an episode and not have to worry about what came before or what's going to come after. The difference is that these are all animated, totally different styles for the most part, and they're all pretty much short films. The shortest episode in this volume was, I think, about 5 minutes, and the longest was about 15 minutes. With credits, it's longer, but they're really short. You can get through this show in about a day, which is exactly what I did. Since this is an anthology and each episode is directed by someone different, written by someone different, and animated by someone different, it is kind of hard to talk about specifics. For any other show or movie, I could talk about the directing, the style of it, but since this is all different, it's hard to do that unless I want to get into spoilers, which I don't really want to do. So this review is, first of all, probably going to be kind of all over the place. Second of all, it's going to be a lot of comparison between the two volumes, just because, again, since everything is so different, the best that I can do is just compare the two, and I'm not going to go into any specifics. It's just going to be mostly comparing and contrasting the two seasons and talking about what I liked and didn't like. As I always like to do for my videos, I will talk about the positives first, and like I was saying earlier, this is a really quick and easy watch. Each episode is no more than 15 minutes. I watched this in a day in 2 separate sittings. If you're just going to sit down and watch all 8 episodes at once, you could probably do it in about 2 hours or under. So it's not a big time consumer. You can watch it in a day and be done with it. As was the case with Volume 1, the animation in this show is quite stunning for most of it. Your eyes are not going to get bored watching any of these episodes. You're going to be visually engaged the whole time, and there's always something interesting to look at in frame. So it's great to watch. It's not going to bore your eyes in any way. With that being said, there are 2 issues I have with Volume 2. The first one is just a nitpick. The second one is a little bit more big scale. So the first nitpick I kind of have, and I noticed this during the first volume as well, sometimes when the mouths are being animated, it doesn't always match up with the voice acting. It either just doesn't sound like it's coming out of them, or maybe the mouth doesn't get construed in a way that a normal mouth would, and it's just kind of noticeable sometimes. It doesn't take away from the story. I never find myself not enjoying one of the episodes because of that, but it is something I notice sometimes. Again, little tiny detail, but just something I did notice. The other issue I had with this volume is a little bit more large scale compared to the mouth thing. So the first volume of shows, you'd be watching this show, and then somewhat near the end, there'd be some piece of information that would be revealed that would do one of 2 things. It would either change the context of the entire episode. So if you wanted to go back and watch it again, knowing that information now, it's a totally different experience once you watch it again. The other thing that thing would do, revealing that information would do, would be it would make you want to know more about this world. When you only have maximum 15 minutes to tell a story, you can really only give the main important details, the bare minimum that the audience needs to know to be able to follow the story. But a lot of times at the end of those episodes, there would be something that would happen at the end that would kind of open it up to more hypotheses. It would make the audience want to know more. And there were several episodes in Volume 1 where they did that. And I can't really think of any in Volume 2 that did that for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching the stories. They were good stories. I was never bored with the narrative, what was going on. But when each episode ended, I didn't find myself being like, oh, wow, I want to go back and watch this again. And I wonder if it's going to be a different experience. And I also found myself for I would say about 6 of the 8 episodes also thinking I really don't feel like I want to know more about this world. Like, they just told a story. It was a very self-contained story, and now it's over, and I don't really feel emotionally invested in the world that they created in that story. So that was kind of my big issue. Like, again, all of the episodes are relatively enjoyable. I just don't really find myself right now wanting to go back and watch any more of them, as like I did with the first volume of episodes. Yeah, overall, Love, Death, and Robots it's enjoyable. You're not going to get bored. The stories are engaging. They're short. They're quick, so you're not going to waste too much of your time. But at least for Volume 2, I don't really feel like I ever want to go back and watch them on my own. If someone that I was friends with or my fiance wanted to watch them, I'd be like, sure. But, like a week ago, I went back and rewatched some of the old Volume 1 episodes because I remembered liking them so much. But I don't foresee myself doing that for a lot of these. I am really hoping that Volume 3, whenever that comes out, I think it's going to be next year, does improve upon Volume 2 a little bit. All right, so there we go. Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. Have you seen it? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned to the channel for more.